Israel is a stable nation in the most unstable part of our world. And we absolutely need to do everything that we can to stand behind Israel and their ability to defend their democracy. It is absolutely important that we do this, particularly in this time in our world's history. Let's all be clear. This is a dangerous world. And there are people out there who hate our liberty, hate our freedom, and they will do anything that they can to harm it. And they will do it to Israel as well. And we need to have an eyes wide open approach, particularly when it comes to nations like North Korea and Iran. If Iran doesn't already have nuclear capabilities, they are well on their way, and they are next door neighbors. We absolutely have got to take an approach with our eyes wide open. We need to support Israel and allow them to defend their democracy.
I would again just like to point out those that can go to my website, look at my past. I mean, I've been standing tall on this issue. I've been taking press releases out against the president, against Bobby Bright for his lack of stand on these issues. And I think, again, it's very important to look at a candidate's track record on where those stands have been and what they've been doing actively, not just talking about, to help take this stand and take this fight to Washington, D.C.
We begin with Ms. Roby's response to the following question. Do you believe we should get out of the United Nations and could kick the United... I didn't write these. and kick the United Nations out of the U.S.? And your belief, and why or why not?
Well, I think it's absolutely important to note that as a place to exchange ideas, the United Nations may serve a role. But when it comes to watering down the sovereignty of this country, we absolutely must put an end. There have been problems that have arisen throughout this country's history where there have been international laws and so on and so forth that have been discussed. But as a place to exchange ideas, that's fine. But if you start trying to water down our sovereignty and as a nation, that is where we absolutely, absolutely draw the line.
I have a little bit different view on that. I say we pack up, we take our money back home, and we take care of ourselves. Since the UN's inception, we as Americans have been manipulated. We've been taken to task for things that we have not been responsible for. We're constantly beat up by the UN and abused. They want us to pull all the water, carry all the heavy weight, and they want to do anything but start forming this new world order that's out there that we don't want to be a part of. The United States is the best place in this world because of our culture, because of our stand, our economy, and our military. Unless they want to get on board with us, because right now we seem to keep wanting to pander to them. We have got to take a stand, be a sovereign nation, and be that beacon of hope again. That light on the hill is what we need to do. And the first way to do that is to leave the United Nations and then to see how well they fare without us.
Well, the United States of America is the world's only superpower, and with that comes a responsibility of leadership. And when I talk about returning to our values, our conservative values, and I talk about our need to be a leader and to have a stronger America at both home and abroad, it is about taking the opportunity to show leadership. And if given a forum in which to do so, the United States needs to step up and show that leadership. But with that, we also absolutely must protect our Constitution and the sovereignty of this country at the same time.
Mr. Barber, let's get a couple of questions here. Sure. Would you support passing a law to bring all our military back to our country, the United States of America, over a 10 to 20 year period of time, giving our allies a chance to arm themselves?
So there's absolutely a reason that we should be abroad in certain places, especially for staging purposes as well as deployment purposes. But we do not need to be as extended as we are today. You got places like Germany and Japan that are clearly allied territories. They're not any threat, and we don't need to have significant military presences over there anymore. If there's a reason that they want us to remain over there, they can start paying the bill. Because most of the places we're at, we are there for economic reasons, not for military strategic reasons, and we do need to bring those troops home. We need to bring them home and use them to enforce our borders if necessary, since we can't seem to do that, and they're trained to do it. But absolutely, I would fight to bring our troops home, stop getting in these open-ended conflicts. If there's a threat abroad, we need to tackle that threat, we need to identify it, and then we need to declare war. Because when you declare war, you allocate the resources, you define the mission, and you go take care of business, and you make a statement, and you come back. And you do it in a manner that's safe for our soldiers, that you limit casualties, you limit the cost of the war, and you come back and you do more than you project strength. Reagan said it best. We were never brought into war because we were deemed to be too strong. Only when we were deemed to be too weak. Bring our troops home, let's project strength, and quit being the subsidy to the world.
Ms. Barbara, that was part A of the question. I've got part B right here. Not allowing our military to participate overseas militarily without the declaration of war by Congress or a call for help from allies who have favored nation status, and make it a short list. Is that a question?
I'm not sure, but I think I know where you're going.
Because I don't.
At the end of the day, even as military personnel, we are trained that you, at all costs, try to avoid conflict. Like Mrs. Roby said, war is ugly, and we live in a dangerous place. There are people that don't respect our liberties, and they hate us for it. And they would do everything in their power to kill us and try to remove it, to pass their views on us and take over our land. And so we must identify those threats, because at the end of the day, I would much rather fight that war overseas than in my backyard. And so there's a reason to do that. But you do it the way the Constitution set us up to do it. We need to quit doing, again, these open-ended conflicts, because what happens is we get overseas, we get involved, and it turns into a nation-building mission. And that's the reason we start having wars. We cannot stop the religious wars that are taking place overseas, nor should we try. All we can do to help project freedom throughout the world is to set the example and let the rest of the world rise up against their tyrannical governments like we did and take back their nation. And that's how, and then you support them. You support the people when that happens, and quit getting into these open-ended conflicts.